Howdy, the name's Mike, but there is no post on Sundays, so instead, there are puzzles. As a gamer, my mind often works a little bit better than my hands do, so I've always really enjoyed games that work my brain rather than working my mechanical skills, and as a result, I decided, why not do puzzles on this channel? And so, Puzzle Sundays was born. The first game that I will be playing on Puzzle Sundays is going to be a game that I had passed to me by a good friend of mine named SpaceChem. The first time I heard about it, I didn't really want to give it a chance because I don't particularly like chemistry, which, as you might imagine from the name SpaceChem, is kind of the point. But I decided to give it a chance anyway, and I started treating it as more of a physical puzzle rather than an actual scientific puzzle, because as you're going to see, the game is a lot about where things are on the board, putting together things, getting them to the places where they need to be, that sort of idea, rather than actually what the puzzle is about. It's not particularly about the molecules and atoms themselves. I haven't played very much of this game. I've pretty much just played the tutorial world and a little bit past that, so most of the puzzles will be new to me. So you don't have to worry about me just being able to understand everything and destroy them all before you have a chance to actually look at it and see if you can figure it out for yourselves as well. I have heard that this game gets very, very difficult, so I do hope you enjoy watching failure because there may be some of it. At any rate, let's go on ahead and get into this world so that I can show you what SpaceChem is and why I decided to actually play it for you guys. So we're going to click on here. As we see, we have a planet world here, and there is a couple of things. The first one is a video from SpaceChem that I'm not going to be playing for you guys. If you do want to watch it, I'm sure that you can see it on the Steam store potentially, or if you just look it up on the internet, I'm sure you could find it. But we are going to go right into the first training world of reactors and reactions. So the way that the game works is that there is a big old board with different things on it. These are Waldos. You have a red Waldo and a blue Waldo. They move constantly around the track that you create, and you can obviously alter the track to make the Waldos go where you want them to, not go where you don't want them to, and so on. The reactors may move atoms, rotate molecules, modify bonds, do that sort of things, and the reactors go on the arrow paths that you make for your Waldos. So let's continue right on into it. This pretty much will explain exactly what I just said. This is an instruction which executes when the matching Waldo passes over it. So you have these points down here, grab, in, sync, etc. You can put them on your path, and when that color's Waldo passes over it, it will activate that reactor. That instruction, I should say. So, let's go on. How do I make it move on forward? Place a matching instruction in the highlight square. So it just wants us to put an in. The instruction causes the Waldo to attach. This instruction causes the Waldo to attach and release atoms. This will pick up the newly accepted molecules. So what the in does is it causes this input alpha to drop off what is showing up in this corner. So when you do that, it'll appear, and you want to pick it up. So you put this, it will pick it up. Now you have 4 arrow keys, so you can go on ahead and click, direct it. It also has a rotation instruction, so we're going to go on ahead and put that right there. You can hold down the key letters that are in this box to be able to kind of quick activate them, the instructions, to just click and put them where you want. If the atom collides with another atom or with the side of the reactor, the simulation will be stopped. So basically, don't hit the edges, don't hit another atom. So if we click over here and then you put another grab or drop instruction, whoops, we put it too far, we'll put it over here, and that will cause the Waldo to drop it. To see that in action, we have to also put one output, which will cause anything in this quadrant to be accepted. And what this quadrant wants is it wants the same oxygen atom that we see it's putting in as the input on this side. So now we can start it on. We'll press the start. As we can see, our Waldo causes the input to appear. It grabs the molecule that is in the space. It comes all the way around. Here it will stop and briefly rotate the molecule before bringing it around and calmly dropping it off right there, and output it goes. The rest of these are a pause, so that you can pause the action, see what's about to happen if you want to make any changes. There's obviously faster, fastest, and light speed. And when you go into light speed, if you have it solved properly, it will just finish the mission for you in a matter of a second, basically. So once you have completed it, it will tell you assignment complete, and it will pretty much give you your statistics compared to the rest of the world who has played this level. So it'll tell you elapsed cycles, reactors used, symbols used. Reactors used is basically how many times you have failed the mission, because it is possible in a lot of cases. Symbols used is how many different instructions we put out onto the board, trying to keep that to a minimum. And it also gives you an option to record your solution, but we won't be doing that, obviously. Once you've completed one world, it will lead you to the next, naturally. So let's go on in there and see what slightly different is. Atoms are the building blocks of all matter. Atoms are the same element, have the same properties. Molecules consist of one or more atoms joined by bonds. A molecule is manipulated by a Waldo as a single unit. So you can move this entire thing by holding onto that, this entire thing by holding onto any one of its constituent atoms. So, continuing on, let's go and see what this wants us to do. We have hydrogen in this corner, and we have hydrogen in this corner. So, to solve this puzzle, we will use the blue Waldo, which behaves identically to the red one, but it executes only blue instructions, of course. We need to create a blue input. We need to create a blue beta input and drop a red alpha input. Oh, okay, wait, so we can just press tab here. I'm not quite sure why it tells you to do that, but we can just press tab to switch between red and blue. So we want the red one, so let's go ahead and drop a red input and move it on up. The red Waldo defaults to the top, and the blue Waldo defaults to the bottom. Either Waldo can go anywhere in the reactor. It doesn't matter where. You can go all the way into this corner, whichever one with either one. You just want to make sure that you're only going to places that you actually need to go. So if we steer this way, as we can see, it will tell you where in the 4x4 quadrant it will drop this molecule. So it's going to drop it here and here. So we do need to grab that at some point. So let's grab that right there. And where it drops, I don't believe is actually necessary, but we're going to do our best to drop that exactly where it wants it. And then we have to steer on back to home. And we do need an output command to make sure that it accepts it. So we will press play and see what happens if it does exactly what we want it to. There we go. Input, grabs it, drops it. Oh, we didn't put it exactly where we wanted to, but there you go. This should actually be right over there so that it drops it right in the middle if we wanted to make it identical to this. But like I said, it doesn't matter exactly where in the quadrant you drop off your output, just so long as it's dropped off in that output entirely and not in any of the other pieces. So now that we know we have it right, we can speed it up, and speed it up until we have assignment complete. We have elapsed 157 cycles apparently, so that's right around where the middle is, apparently a little bit towards the slow end, so we did something wrong. We didn't break any reactors, we only used 8 symbols, unlike a lot of people who used more. So we did pretty well, but again, just tutorial worlds. Let's continue on through this world. We have now crossover. So, in this one, you might notice, if you look closely, we have AU, gold, which is the input over here, but PT, platinum, which is the output on this side. And on the bottom, it's reversed. Input is the platinum over here, and gold is the output on this side. So we essentially need to pick up on this side and output over here. There are a couple of ways of doing this, just to make sure that you don't get into any trouble. The way that I prefer doing this is going on like this, so that that one is completely on the inside, and this one is, whoops, that's not what I wanted at all. To remove something, you can simply drag it off of the screen, and that will remove it. So you can go on ahead and put this like this. I believe this will work. I'm not entirely sure if you're allowed to go over this 10 or not, but I suppose we will find out, because, as you might imagine, the blue track is a lot longer than the red track, which will mean that the blue track will take longer to complete. At any rate, let's continue making our board here such that we wanted it. We do need to go ahead and the platinum, okay, so the platinum does drop right here, so we do need to go into that spot to grab it. So we're gonna come like this and do that. So that means that we also need to alter this one here so that it doesn't run over that piece, right? So now we have this little dent in. That's kind of asymmetrical, a little bit bothering me, but what can you do? Now we know that our system here is definitely safe. So let's go on ahead. We have the input. We need the grab command right there. We need the blue grab command right here. We need the drop command wherever we feel to drop. So let's drop that right there, perhaps. And we need the red grab command wherever we put it. So let's put that one right on where it's supposed to be. And then once again, we need our output. This is where the game actually gets difficult. Because, for example, let's go ahead and just put this output command wherever we feel, right there. This output command refers to this block, not this block. So when it drops it off here, we need the blue output. We need the blue W output to get rid of this spot here. And because this blue track is longer than the red track now, it won't do it. So let me finish up doing what I was about to do and show you why it won't work here. So we need an output right there. So let's go on ahead. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Stop. So we need an input that I forgot to place right there. So let's go on ahead and do it slowly. Hey, wait, I put the wrong thing. So if you mess up, you just press stop and it runs it over. So we need to take that off, and we need an input. That's the one we want, right? Yeah, so there will both spawn right there. Now we grab them both. So as we can see, the red one is getting over here to drop it on off, and now it hits the output up here. There's nothing here yet. Now we press this output over here and it clears this one off, sure. But we will eventually have a little bit of a problem, because as you can see, this platinum was already really close to the one coming up to it. And this gold was really close to the one coming up to it. I believe this is where we will have the problem right here. As this gold is still here. This gold is still here. This gold is still here. Will that platinum make it in time? No, it will not. So we have a reaction error. So we do need to make this a little bit different. So the main idea here is to make them as similar in length as possible without overlapping one another. So in order to do that, let's make a couple of changes here. So long as these two don't overlap each other straight off the bat, I think we're okay. So what we will be doing here is we will be moving this right up to here. Let's clear everything else out just to kind of start over with a clean slate. So come on, move on off. I believe that there's a faster way to delete these things, I just don't really remember it. So let's go on ahead, delete all of the things, clear ourselves off a clean slate here. So this is what I mean by not actually remembering how these puzzles go, because this is a tutorial. It's not supposed to be difficult. At any rate, let's go on ahead and finish this one. The way we want it is like this, I believe. No, we want it to go up one more, and then like that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 spots of length, right? So let's so now let's go ahead and make our blue one over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. See, this is again going to be too small, but it doesn't matter because this is going to drop this off here. So we pretty much just need to make a path that's hopefully the same size, because there won't be anything connected to our Waldo at this point. So here we have 3, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I don't remember what exactly was up here, but we have 8 and 8, 16, and 20. So no, actually we have 22, so I need to move this out a little bit and move this back a little bit, and I believe that's what we need. So let's go on ahead and set everything back up the way we needed it to, which means putting our E drop right here. Let's put it over here just to make sure, and we're gonna put the output right over here, because if everything works, it should be inputting and outputting at the exact same time if we've done this correctly. We need a grab right there, we need a drop right there. Supposedly, this should work. So let's go on and try it. They both spawn. This one's going to drop off first, but now they're both in place. Theoretically, they should both output at the same time, and perfect. So we have made it exactly the way we need it to be this time. This time we can speed it on up, and we will see that the puzzle is complete. Assignment complete. We did this actually faster than a lot of people did, which is kind of surprising, seeing as I didn't think that I had done a great job. We only used one reactor. We didn't break anything. As far as symbols used, we used 20. That's what a lot of people use, so I'm not too upset about that. I didn't make anything overly complicated. Let's move on to the next level here, an introduction to bonding. So as of right now, we've only ever dealt with full molecules that we needed in those states. But this time, we will be adding another something into the mix. Bonders. Add or remove bonds from an atom. If you click, and you can click and move the bonders around, but for the most part it's not so bad to just keep them in place. Until later on when you may have to move them, you may not have a choice, right? The sync instruction is to make the Waldos wait for one another. When they both hit their sync instructions, they will move forward. If one of them arrives early, it will wait for its partner. As we can see in this one, if you have adjacent bonders, they will add or remove bonds that on molecules that happen to be sitting right here. So if we had a pair of C's right there and you used a bond plus, it would create a bond between them, and vice versa. Now, if the directional pad was obviously traveling in this direction and you chose to break this bond, it would immediately fail because it would break, and then this one would hit this one, and that would be a problem. But at any rate, let's go on and see it in action. So this instruction specifies where a Waldo starts and can be moved, but it cannot be created or deleted. So you can move around where you want things to start. You don't have to leave it where it is, but you can't delete it. You can't drag it off. It's got to be somewhere. So move the start instruction to where it wants you to right there. Let's put on input. It wants you to put that, and that will make the silver, which is what we are trying to spawn here, to spawn right there. So let's go on ahead and make a grab. When you drop the grab and drop command naturally, it will drop it. It will become both. It will either grab or drop, depending on what is necessary. If you want to make it only do one, you can change it by right-clicking on it and either make it grab or drop. We want it to be grab. And in fact, all things can be changed by right-clicking on them. So you can make a beta input or an alpha input with the red command if you so choose, which would have helped to know in the last one, because you could have totally changed that output to be the respective output that you wanted it for the color. It didn't tell you that then because that would defeat the purpose. At any rate, let's continue. It wants you to let's put a down arrow right here and modify it. You can change it up, down, right, left. Instruction can be quickly placed by using the arrow key. We knew that already. So let's go on ahead. And we know that we need a bond in this at some point or another. So let's just continue moving so that it gets rid of this. So let's press tab. Let's drop our input. It wants you to put it here for some reason. Go up. Let's drop a grab command right there and move that to there. So now what it wants us to do is it wants us to move the bonders into place so that there's actually a connected adjacent bonder right here. And it wants us to make a sync command to wait for, to allow the two to come across at the same time. Now, you do want one to drop so that the bond is connected, because if you decide, if you had two that were still connected to their Waldos and they were bonded together, once the paths diverge, because eventually they will have to, you're going to run into a problem because both of them are trying to tug onto this little molecule that you've created, and that's going to create a problem. That's going to destroy your Waldos because they won't both be able to retain control at the same time, right? So what we need to do is put the blue one ahead so that we can put this command to drop the molecule right there, drop the atom, I should say, right there, so that when the bond comes up, it will bond it to something that is free rather than something that is connected. So let's put that right there. Oops, that's not what we want. Undo. Control Z still works as an undo command. Down right. So now we need to finish the red track, like so, and of course we need a drop, which is right like that, and we need a output. So now this should work. So let's go ahead and see it in action. We have the silver and the fluorine. The fluorine is dropped, it gets bonded, up it goes, it gets dropped off, and there we are. Now we'll see that the fluorine is here way early, but it's not that big of a deal because of the sync command. So now we know these are right. Let's move it a little bit faster. Let's go fastest, and let's go breakneck because we are done. We use less cycles than most people. We only used one reactor. We didn't break anything like we expected, and we used only 18 symbols, which is less than the 20 that it seems to be the average. So let's continue on. That one was really hand-holdy, of course. Let's go ahead into a brief history of SpaceChem. A pair of atoms can have a maximum of 3 bonds between them. That's a chemistry rule, not just a game rule. That is a real-life chemistry rule. Additionally, each element has a maximum number of bonds allowed per atom. This information can be found on the periodic table. It only goes up to 3, but this hydrogen has the number 1, so it can only go up to 1. Oxygen can only go up to 2. Nitrogen could theoretically go up to 5, but we know that the rule is only 3, so that's that. Attempting to add more bonds than allowed will not work, but it won't cause any problems for you, too. So let's go on ahead. Here we see we have hydrogen spawning on the top, we have chlorine spawning on the bottom, and we need a hydrogen bonded to a chlorine. This one does not give you any hints, so let's go on ahead and see if we can figure this out on our own. We need an input, we need a grab, we need some directions. We know that, and that's all we really need out of here, so let's loop that on back. We need a sync right here, and we need a drop right there, kind of similar to the last one. Let's see, and on the blue side, we need this to come up like this, and we need like that. We also need a sync command right here. We need an input. We do need an input. That is a thing that needs to happen. We need to switch these off to grab commands. And we need a bond plus right there. So there, now we have input, grab, sync, drop, input, grab, sync, and then it'll bond to it and take it on over this way. One thing that it didn't bring up so far is that we do have a rotate command. So the rotate command is also a slight pause, so whenever you're using these, do take care that it does pause your movement for a little bit. We don't actually need to rotate them, I do believe. We just need to have a drop command right like that, and then an output command. So let's go on ahead and see if I've missed something really obvious. Input, they've both been oh wait, I definitely messed something up because I put the grab in the wrong place. So we have to stop, press start. Press the stop button, move the grab to the right place, and try again. So that was a pretty epic brain fart. So there we go, we have them bonded together. It's dropped on and off, and the output is done. So there we go. We know that this one will work. Let's speed it up. Let's speed it up faster. And let's go super fast because we have done it. The lap cycle is 160. Apparently we were too slow. But again, one reactor, 18 symbols used, not really all that difficult. Removing bonds, and this is the last thing that the game needs to teach you. It needs to teach you how to, it taught you how to make bonds. Removing bonds is literally the exact same thing. So it's just in reverse, and you would obviously function that by right-clicking the instruction once you've made it. So let's go on ahead and build this. We've got an input, we need a grab right there, whoops, we need a grab right there, down, over, up, and to the right. We are going to be putting something in to make sure that everything works just fine. We're going to be putting in a couple of somethings actually. So we have it grabbed there. We need a bond minus to break these two apart. And then we need a drop right there. Just click on drop. And then we need a sync. You're going to see why in just a second. Then we have an output. When we go over to the blue side, we know that we have, whoops, I don't want that at all, undo. We're going to put that, we need a grab right there. We need to drop this off actually, because if not, it will come back around and hit the next one. So we don't need this at all. We need an up so that it can drop it on off in the right spot. That goes like that. We have that output there. We will put a sink right there. So it will wait for... So what we've done with this pair of sinks right here is that the red Waldo will wait at this sink for the blue Waldo to get to this sink before it hits that output. And that's important because that will mean that it is waiting for the blue Waldo to drop off its half of the broken fluorine molecule before it goes to the output. We also need to make sure that it's grabbing it at the proper time. So what we do need, first off, it's going to spawn in like horizontally. We need that to be vertically, so we need a, whoops, not in that color, that's for sure. We need a rotation command right there, and we need another sink. We need this sink to go right on there, and we need a sink to go right here. So this way, the fluorine molecule will definitely hit... Oh wait, this is the wrong way as well. Like that. We need it this way to turn it clockwise so that it goes vertically in the direction we want. Otherwise it would be sticking up, and that's not very useful at all. So this sync command right here will make sure that the blue Waldo is in position to receive this this fluorine ion before it breaks them. So let's go on ahead and see what this looks like. There's a spawn, there's the rotation, they're waiting, broken, picks up, drop, drop, and there we go. The output clears both of those fluorines off, and then now this one will wait again. So there we go. It looks like we've done this right. Yes, it does. Let's speed it up. Let's speed it up a little bit faster. And let's just wait for it this time. Assignment complete. We used less cycles than most people, and we did use more symbols, probably just because I was a little bit intense with making sure that everything worked properly. But we have completed the first world, the tutorial world, Cernamere 2. Now we're on Cernamere 4, which is the first thing to research is double bonds. So let's go on ahead and look at what double bonding is like, because now that we are off the tutorial world, things should probably get a little bit more intense, and indeed they do. Because right now we have oxygen spawning, and we need a double bonded oxygen. This only spawns one. So that means that we need to spawn two of them and bring both of them over without causing a problem. So first off, let's make this, because we know we're going to need this, right? We know we need this loop. Let's go on ahead and drop our input right there and our grab function right there. And we know that we're going to need this to wait right here, because we're going to need a bond plus here and a bond plus here. We know that the blue track needs to pass by there at some point. We know that it also needs to go on and grab the same ion from the same place, right? It needs to grab this oxygen as well. So we're going to do something like that. And we need it also to drop off what it's doing. So we need to move this back one because we need a sink here and we need a drop there. Right? So this will wait to make sure that they're in place before it drops things, right? This is pretty common to what we've been doing so far. Now we have an input and a grab right there. We need another input. We need to right click it and make it the proper input, and we need another grab right here to make sure that things work properly. We also, since the blue one is much larger than the red one to get back to the same place, I don't think we're going to have a problem in getting back. But so let's go on ahead and try it after we drop our output command and our drop command right there. So let's go on ahead and try and see if this works. So there's the one input, it grabs it, and now it's waiting. There's the other input, it grabs that, and now it's hitting that, dropped, bonds twice, drops, output goes, and yes, it looks like we have completed this successfully. So let's speed it on up. Faster, faster, faster. And super fast. Alright. We took more cycles than a lot of people did, but we also used less symbols, so we got that going for us. We are going to do one more puzzle right here because this is the last puzzle that I did, and I did not actually read this, so best left unanswered. A hand in the rear of the room flew up. There have been a lot of concern about safety lately. Do you know anything about there was an unfortunate accident, she said. Someone coughed and she narrowed her eyes. We have a stellar safety compliance record. We have the best people and resources. Unfortunately, sometimes incidents occur, but these are rare events. There were only a few other companies the size of SpaceChem, including their corporate rivals SFCM, Société Française de Chimie et de l'Exploitation Minière, and Organexus, a smaller firm specializing in organic compounds and renowned for their general incompetence. SpaceChem was enjoying a golden age of incredible growth and success despite the news reports. Angela pulled a stack of papers from the folder. Anything else before we move on? What really happened during that accident? Another person asked again from the back. She shuffled the papers in her hands and tapped them against the table in front of her. How does half a station's crew get flushed out of the airlock? I mean, even if it was a malfunction, why were they all in there in the first place? The paper slid from her fingers as she stared through me with dull, lifeless eyes. I cleared my throat and she glanced away. Her lips strained into a smile. I need a moment. Just going to... I'll be right back. She disappeared behind the door. She did not return. So it looks like there is an actual storyline to go with this puzzle game, which is kind of cool. We'll be uncovering a little bit more of the story as we continue. Now here in this one, we will see that we need triple bonded nitrogen. So we need some way to make... Actually, that means I did not play this level. I have never played this level before, so this is going to be the first genuine puzzle that I don't really know what I'm doing in. We need a triple bond. Huh. How are we going to do that? It did say that going back over the spots would not matter and would not have any adverse effects. So let's see if we can figure this out. We need this for sure. And I think, can we put a bond plus and a turn on the same spot? No, we can't. We cannot, unfortunately. We can also not... Whoops, that's definitely not what I wanted. Huh. Let's see then. How will we do this? That means I don't want this at all then. Can we do this? That's just gonna loop it over and over though. Okay, rather than doing that, let's get rid of you, because we don't need this. Let's do it like this. And that way we can put 2 turns to spin it in the direction we want it. And we can go bond plus and bond plus. Now we need it to go up. No. I guess not, because if you try and go back up, it'll stop you. So we need to make something that looks like this. There's probably a cleaner way to do that. I'm not 100% sure. So let's see here. We do need an input. We need a grab. And we need a sink. We're going to need another sink as well later on to make sure that nothing else happens, I believe. But we'll get to that when we get to that. This actually needs to be here. So that's going to grab it, wait, bond, and then spin. Alright, so we need the blue to go on up ahead and to do that. Really? You're gonna make me do that, honestly? Actually, we didn't even need that. We could have just done this. This is unneeded. Alright, so we need a sink right there. We need a drop right there. Just a grab. We also need a grab right there. And we need an because that bothers me. We need a input right here as well. Right, so that'll grab, wait, sync, drop. It'll bond, flip it around, bond it the other way, spin around. Okay, okay. So the other sync that we'll put is going to be right here to make sure that, oh wait, no. We'll put it like that. Yeah, that's how we'll put it to make sure that there isn't a conflict. Yeah. We'll put it like that. And that should be enough. Yeah, that should be plenty. We need a drop off right there. Actually, we'll put it here because it'll be facing upwards. And we'll put it right there. And we need an output. Alright, so let's see if that works. Here we go. It grabs it, goes off, syncs. Oh no, I did that wrong. I definitely did that wrong because it's hitting that sync and thinking that it's the right one. Yeah, so we're gonna put it right behind the start point then. That'll be fine. That was me not thinking everything entirely true. So there we go. Now they'll get into position. It'll drop that off. 1 bond, 2 bond. There's the spin. There's the triple bond. And now it'll go back around and drop that off where it's supposed to be. Nice. I think we got it here, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a completed puzzle that I have never completed before. And that feels good. And that will also, as we speed this on up, because we are sure that we have got this, bang, assignment completed. We use more cycles than a lot of people did. There was probably an easier way to do that I just didn't know. Especially considering that I use, so there's definitely an easier way to do that that I didn't know because I used a lot of symbols compared to everyone else. So this is kind of your review screen to tell you how well you're doing compared to the rest of the world. If you did that well, if you didn't really do it so well. If you're using a lot of cycles and if you're using a lot of symbols, that probably means that your solution was a little bit convoluted. If you're on the low end of things, that means you probably did things the way that was expected, or maybe you even found a better way to do it than most people did. So in this case, since we're on the high end of both, it means we probably didn't do it too well, but the story, the point matters that we did it properly. We finished it. That's all that matters, right? If you click story again, it will tell you that... oh wait, there was story from the beginning for the first two as well. So we're going to go on ahead and read that story when we do our next episode of SpaceChem. Actually, whatever. Let's read it now. You know, people die in space. That was the first sentence in the latest letter from my mother. She had never set foot on a ship, let alone off the colony of Sangfroid. When I told her that I wanted to explore the stars, she cried. We were sitting in the local diner, stacks of pancakes swimming in syrup and butter on our plates, every face watching my mother's tears roll down her cheeks as I continued eating. I was 10. She attached a news article about a recent incident involving a SpaceChem station in a secluded region of the galaxy. Half of the crew had been ejected through the airlock due to a strange malfunction. The survivors were not available for comment. Needless to say, my career choice was wholly opposed. The stakes are just too high. Look at these reports, she said in the message. I could hear her voice rising with each word. I deleted it and turned off the tablet. The shuttle was en route to the training facility on Cernimere 2, billions of kilometers away from Sangfroid. In a few hours, I would be setting foot on another planet for the first time. I gazed out the window and watched the stars shimmer in the distance. You've never been up here before? The pilot called back to me. No, first time. Then you've never been through one of these jumps either. Sit tight. My hand gripped the armrest as we hit the jump to Cernimere 2. I thought I could hear my mother crying, but it was just the pilot laughing. A training facility on Cernimere 2 was a campus of rectangular metal buildings connected by corrugated tunnels with the landing zone located in the west of the reactor field. There was only a trace atmosphere on the surface, leaving the horizon empty except for the central star and the sister planet, Cernimere 4. I sat in a folding chair behind a table in a brightly lit room with 15 other trainees. A middle-aged woman stood at the front of the room smiling. She wore a gray jumpsuit with a name tag that read, Angela. Welcome to your first day of training, she said. We're going to get started with some of the basics about SpaceChem, its founding and mission. We'll get through some of the drier material later in the session. As she clapped her hands, the lights dimmed and the SpaceChem logo appeared on the wall. SpaceChem was founded in 2745 by George Vossler. An image of a portly, mustachioed man appeared for a moment before Angela flicked to the next screen, which contained the likeness of a salmon. Originally, SpaceChem was a subsidiary of Vossler Industries, specializing in the manufacture of fish-based food products. Later on, Vossler Industry folded, and SpaceChem expanded into chemical engineering. The fish disappeared and was replaced by a starfield. Ever since, SpaceChem has revolutionized the industry with its reactor technology. We currently employ over 200,000 individuals in various capacities on over 3,000 planets and stations. SpaceChem is the largest chemical engineering and manufacturing company in the universe. Another SpaceChem logo materialized. SpaceChem's goal is to provide high-quality chemical necessities to human colonies on a universal scale in an economical and effortless manner. Angela clapped to turn on the lights. Any questions so far? And of course, we know that the next question was about safety, which we read before the episode. So, it looks as though there is actually a story to this game, and it looks like it's actually pretty interesting. I kind of want to continue reading it, but that will require us continuing on throughout the game, which we obviously won't be doing this time. We will be doing it next time on Puzzle Sunday. Thank you all so much for joining me on this puzzling adventure, if you get the pun on that one. I really do enjoy these sorts of games, and I do look forward to posting another video next Sunday. I'm not sure entirely how long this game is, so we will see if any changes to the schedule need to be made, but for now, expect another one of these episodes to come out in a week's time, and I will see you guys all then. I would say another postman's job is never done, but of course, another puzzle man's job never is either. See you guys next time.